Hi, and welcome to Open, the show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world to you. I'm Kibin Alleyne, and today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our borough. Coming up, the program director for Sundays at JASA speaks on their one-of-a-kind college-level continuing education program for adults 50 plus. Then we speak with two LGBTQ plus small business owners who receive help from the NYC Small Business Resource Network to help them on their journey. After that, the executive director of the Better Business Bureau serving New York speaks with us on the best practices for home improvement projects. And finally, a yoga instructor for the Pear Movement Studio speaks about how they are the first Pilates studio in the Bronx offering group classes on the reformer. So stay tuned, all this and much more is headed your way because we're now officially open. Hello everyone, I'm Kibin Alleyne and today is Tuesday, July 9th. You are now watching Open, a program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to you. Don't forget to stay connected with us via social media at BronxNet TV. Founded in 1968, the organization JASA serves older adults in New York City, providing critical services to over 40,000 people annually. Through their services, older adults are empowered to age with purpose and dignity while maintaining autonomy in their homes and communities. Program Director Joe George joins me to shed light on their upcoming initiative, Sundays at JASA. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Kibin. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Now, we talked a little bit about just JASA, but can you give us some more background on the overall mission?
Absolutely. JASA is a wonderful program, like you said, started in 1968. It's been around for over 50 years, serving seniors every year in a variety of services. It is one of the largest nonprofit organizations that has housing, that serves and helps seniors with meals, legal, mental, and physical health. All these things are components, and we also want to really make sure that we allow seniors to stay in their communities, to thrive in their own communities. And so that's really what we're there. We're there to help the seniors in New York City to stay in their communities and thrive in their communities.
Now, I kind of want to expand on some of the programs offered because there's so many, and we're going to talk a little bit about one more in specific, but can you tell us about some of the overall programs in JASA and kind of what the overall message is?
Absolutely, I do my best. We have a lot of wonderful programs at JASA. Outside of like the senior centers, that seniors have a lot of activities and things like that. We also have things called like JASA Chat. JASA Chat is a program that started through the pandemic. We realized a lot of seniors are there, they're home, they're alone, and it's isolating. And so what JASA Chat is we connect seniors with other volunteers, and they provide weekly calls just to check up on them, to discuss how their life is going, any gripes, to kind of laugh and just have that personal connection. So that's a wonderful program that we have. And we're always looking for volunteers, so if anyone wants to volunteer, please reach out to JASA. We also have what we call Next Gen, and I think this is very, very important because it's a program that's designed for the youth to volunteer to get in touch with the senior community. And we host events throughout the city, throughout the year, that allows the youth to come and connect with the seniors. This is very, very important, we think. So we have lots of wonderful programs that are there to help the seniors to live and thrive in their community.
Now, I want to talk about your upcoming programs titled Sundays at JASA. Can you discuss the goal of the program? Just tell us a little bit more about what the purpose is.
Absolutely. Sundays at JASA, it's a wonderful program. It's a program that started because Sunday, for many seniors, is the loneliest day of the week, right? And so the previous director of the program, Sarah Tournay, she built this program where seniors can come in and they can take college level courses and they can continue to challenge themselves intellectually, be entertained. So this is the purpose of the program, to continue to thrive, continue to live, continue to grow, always learning. And that's the purpose of Sundays at JASA. So we have wonderful courses.
That's amazing. And can you tell us a little bit more about the different courses offered? And, what are some things that participants will learn, while they're in the program?
Absolutely. We offer a variety of humanities courses: creative writing, the opera. We have a crossword construction class where you learn to build crossword puzzles. It's one of our crown jewels. We've also had over 24 puzzles published in the New York Times. We also have Shakespeare courses. We have current events. We have a Supreme Court class, which is going to be very, very good this fall with everything that's going on with the election. So current events in the Supreme Court. So those are just some of the courses that we offer, including art appreciation, music appreciation. So these are the types of courses that we offer.
Now, I understand that the program will include instructors that are, people from the world of talent, just different professionals in politics, the arts, media. What impact will this have on the participants, to know that they're being taught by people who kind of perfected their craft?
Absolutely. One of the most important things is our faculty, the instructors that we have. A lot of our instructors are instructors that have been teaching in university level for many, many years. Some of them are adjunct professors. Some of them are retired. Some of them are emeritus. Some of them are full-time professors. And depending on the subject matter, some of them have just been working at their craft and what they do for many, many years. So that's actually one of the things that really make this program fantastic and separates our program from many of the other adult continuation programs, is that the faculty is excellent. I also teach as well. I teach the theater class, Shakespeare, and the acting class as well. So I'm the director, and I do it because I love to do it. I mean, I love to be there in the room teaching the students.
Well, that was kind of going to be my next question. Can you highlight maybe a standout course or one that sticks out to you? But since you are teaching one, can you just tell me a little bit more about that experience and, why it was important for you to kind of delve into that and kind of teach people about the, just the world of theater?
Absolutely. I was trained as a theater artist and also a dancer. And I came to JASA by attending the opera class. I attended Jane Marsh's opera class. Jane Marsh is from the Opera Guild, and she teaches an opera class. It's an excellent class. If you're remotely interested in the opera, it's a class that it doesn't matter what level you are in your sophistication with the opera. You could be a beginner, you could be very experienced. You're going to get something out of it. And I teach the acting class. The acting class, it's just great. It's just me and the seniors in a classroom working together. We create the safe environment for students to take chances, to challenge themselves, to learn. And a lot of times these classes, they are for something that maybe I always wanted to learn this. I was always interested in that, but it's never too late. And so we encourage the seniors to come and take these courses. So it's thrilling. I mean, I love it. And plus with the seniors, you are always going to get an honest answer from them. So that's one of the great things about working with the seniors.
That's amazing. It sounds like an amazing program. Can you just tell us, when does this program actually start and how can people sign up?
Absolutely. So we have a summer session. The summer sessions are usually an abbreviation of what we do overall because we want to stay connected and we want to continue to offer things. We have a summer session starting July 14th, and that'll go through the beginning of August. So that's 4 sessions. This is an excellent opportunity for someone who may be remotely interested in the program but not quite sure. I don't know. So, we are offering an opera class and we are offering a Sondheim class in person at Marymount Manhattan College on the Upper East Side on Sundays. And we also are offering a virtual class, what we call Sizzling Summer Shorts. It's short stories. You read a short story, and as a group, collectively, you discuss the stories. We are also offering a film class. One of our very popular classes, Max Alvarez, is a film historian, and he'll be teaching a film class. So we have that for the summer. And then we have a 10-week fall semester starting in September 22nd. We will have an open house, and then we will have a 10-week session starting on September 22nd. And at that time, we will be offering anywhere from 16 to 20 courses in person at Marymount Manhattan College. and also online and virtual component.
Now, I want to ask, these are some really thoughtful classes. They seem very enriching. What are the benefits of somebody who, may be a senior who probably hasn't thought about doing this before? What are the benefits of joining a program like this?
There are a couple of things that you can be challenged intellectually, you can be entertained, and also, and I think this is one of the most important things, is that there's a social component to it. We offer what we call a lunch social. So we have integrated some things, in-person classes where you can have lunch with seniors and you get to meet other seniors. And so you just get to sit there and you get to talk and talk about the classes that you're taking and things like that. And a lot of friendships develop as a result of the lunch social. Those things are very, very important.
Now, what do you hope participants gain from this experience?
Well, we hope that they gain something that they can take with them to help enrich their life. That's the purpose of education, is to think and to grow and to be in it, to live. And so we think that continuing to educate yourself is one of the key ways that one can gain experiences in their life that never leave you, and so that's what we hope that they gain from the classes when they sign up for Sundays at JASA.
Now, the organization has been around for a very long time. Specifically with this, program, or just in general, what do you hope to see for the future of the program and, ways that you can possibly expand?
For the future of the program, we really want it to represent New York City. We want all peoples of the city to participate in the classes. It doesn't matter as much the education level, it's just a desire to learn and to be involved. And that's really the mission of the education program. Mm-hmm. That's what we really want.
Now, what advice would you give to somebody, as you mentioned, it doesn't matter what your education level is, but sometimes in regard to education, people can sometimes feel a little self-conscious about that regarding, where they came from. What advice would you give to somebody who's struggling with that?
I will say to them, do not worry about that. It is a safe environment. And that's what we're trying to do. It's like the acting classroom, right? There are no wrong answers. There are no, dumb questions. It is a place where, you're there to learn, and everyone understands that we're in it together. And so that's what we're there for. We're there to help guide everyone to gain knowledge. If you never created a crossword puzzle in your life, you're there to learn, and it's a steep learning curve. Believe me, I never liked crosswords when I was growing up and in school. But if you have a desire to learn that, Natan Lass is an excellent instructor, and also the fellow students are there to support you as well. And so I would encourage them to never be afraid of asking questions, or never being afraid to reach out to the instructors or reaching out to me if there are any issues or concerns, because that is our number one goal, is to provide a safe and comfortable learning environment.
And I would also add that even with some of the classes, it seems like it promotes that kind of curiosity. With acting, it's kind of a space for you to just kind of course you're acting, but to be yourself and kind of take that chance. So I think that all of these classes sound like amazing opportunities for, seniors in the community to kind of learn a little bit more about themselves and, the art that they're learning about. So with that being said, I want to thank you so much for joining us and kind of sharing a little bit about the work you're doing to support this community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. I want to make sure that everyone knows that they can reach us at jasa.org. Under events, you will find Sundays at JASA. Please reach out to us. Please join us. If you need any information, right, we are happy to help you and to guide you, and all the services the nonprofit JASA offers. So yes, thank you so much for having me. It's
thank
wonderful.
You. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Open right after this.
Congratulations to BronxNet on its 30th anniversary. And I'm blessed that I was here shortly after the beginning of BronxNet. At that time, I took the field and studio classes, and I spent a lot of time helping other people have shows before I put my toe in the water and decided to have a show for myself. For those of you who are familiar with the Blackwash Televised Art Gallery, that was my first show on my own. And now I am pumping up La Finca del Sur, doing Eating Healthy with La Finca del Sur on BronxNet's Channel 70. And I appreciate everyone watching.
Thank you, BronxNet. Congratulations on 30 years. What an amazing accomplishment. On behalf of myself, Alina Dow, and I represent the Dow Twins and the Dow Twins Show, who are young producers. They started, I think, when they were 11, and now they're 14. They started making 30-second little fun facts, and now they are doing 30-minute shows. And it goes to a testament of how much you guys do in the Bronx to make young people want to continue to be involved. I wish you 30 more amazing years and beyond. Thank you for what you do.
Welcome back. Running a small business is a challenge, and this challenge may be even more difficult for members of the LGBTQ+ community. With 64% of LGBTQ-owned businesses being younger than 10 years old, the Small Business Resource Network provides essential grants and specialized support to help these businesses thrive. Business owners Frances Roman and Catherine Partheniades joins me to discuss how the SBRN impacts the work they do. Thank you both so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, as I mentioned, you're both business owners. Can you tell me a little bit more about your business and how you both got your start?
I'll tell you a little bit about mine. My name is Frances. I'm the executive chef and owner of JASA. We're a restaurant located in East Harlem. I started up out of my house, actually, just cooking meals out of my house, which led to me vending on the streets, became a street vendor, and now we have a brick and mortar located in East Harlem, specializing in Puerto Rican authentic cuisine.
That's amazing. And then can you tell me about your business?
Sure. It started in 2008 when I graduated and I couldn't get a job. So I decided to go down the route of personal training because it allowed me the flexibility to take care of my parents at the time. They're elderly and they needed a lot of appointments and whatnot for their health care. So I went down that route, and then, life happened, balancing elderly parents and work. I was never able to make my work a priority, but life happened, my parents passed, and I was finally able to start my business 110%, went to school for massage therapy, and things started rolling. Things were going in the right direction, and then of course 2020 happened, so we can only imagine what that was like. So then since 2020 I had to restart again, so this is ground zero for me again.
Now, as members of the LGBTQ+ community, we talked about, just how difficult, just running a business is hard. What has your experience been like running a business within the community?
For me, it's actually been pretty amazing. We're located in East Harlem, which has a very large Latino residency. And I feel like we're providing the neighborhood of what they've been lacking, which is that cultural cuisine. We provide a space for Latinos, specifically Puerto Ricans or LGBT members, to come in and be unapologetically themselves. So the community has been very welcoming to that. It's been pretty amazing to have everyone come in and kind of feel like home, because that's been the goal of it. And everyone in the community has actually helped us kind of stay afloat and kind of provide that daily inspiration for us to keep opening the restaurant every day.
That's amazing. And I love to hear positive stories about that. So that's so amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And can you talk a little bit more about your experience as well?
I mean, for me, I'm very fortunate. I never really had any bad experiences. If anything, with massage, everyone tends to like it. So that's the good route. And I always felt like the community has been very helpful in helping me grow and network with me and for me. So it's been a good experience.
That's amazing. Now, we're here to talk also about the SBRN. Just with that being said, how has this organization and this program helped you on your journey? Because as you mentioned, running a business, regardless of any background, it is a struggle.
Absolutely.
Especially since we're now kind of post-COVID. I'm pretty sure that has probably impacted the work that you've done as well. So can you talk about your experience and your run-ins with SBRN?
For me personally, they've helped out a lot, more so with mentorship. They're more hands-on, so they've actually walked in our restaurant and have said, hey, we can offer these, we can offer this to you, which is a lot of times as a business owner, we're so focused on the day-to-day running of our business that we forget all the small things that can kind of help us get this moving. And when SBRN came into my restaurant, it was like, well, thank you, because I need someone to kind of take this off my plate and handle this, and they've been able to do that. So
I love that, and take it off your plate. It works with that.
It works. It's like, because especially with my website, me and my wife, we've been struggling to build it, and I'm a cook. I'm not a website builder, but they have people that do that. So that's amazing for me to kind of hand that off and give them my idea and have them see them put that together so I can focus on my food, on my actual business.
And with that being said, I also love to delve a little bit more in the open and online program. Can you tell me a little bit more about the program? And I understand that it helped you kind of get a free website, which you mentioned is so important with any business, just being online. We're kind of in this era where everything is online. So can you tell me a little bit more about your experience within that program?
Well, it's just, again, more so of me just kind of not knowing what to do and having them guide me with that. And since the internet, not just so having your website, but social media is so important for any small business. And for me personally, being in the kitchen, I don't have time to upload TikTok videos or Instagram videos, and they have people to do that. So it's been amazing to have a group of people kind of assist in an area that's so important for small business, whether it's the internet or social media. Super thankful for them in handling all of that. And the videos that they create are more of a storytelling video, so it's super engaging and people love that. So it's super, in my opinion, helpful to the business itself and keeps the customers engaged, along with helping out the small business.
That's amazing. And then I'd love to hear from you. I know that, can you tell us a little bit more? I know you're a little bit more new to SBRN, but
sure.
What has your experience been like?
Well, I just found out about them 2 days ago, so
okay.
I'm definitely a baby, but I am also friends with Laura, who is one of the main specialists of SBRN. And from her, I've learned about all these resources. So the great thing is they have legal resources, marketing, which is what you were talking about, which is super helpful, because I'm a massage therapist, not a marketer or a digital creator. I'm trying, though, but it's not my strong suit. So having all these resources has been super helpful for me in the future, so I can focus more on providing the best service for my clients with massage and personal training and not worry so much about the behind the scenes. And I think that's something super important for small businesses to have, is to have access to all these amazing resources. And the best part is they get you started on a website and a logo complimentary. And that to me was absolutely, there's no way I can say no to this.
And just even the idea of needing a logo, are these things that you thought when you decided you wanted to create a business, did you think oh yeah, we have to have a logo and we have to have a website and be on social media? Can you talk about your experience kind of running into that?
Honestly, no. When I started my personal business, it was survival mode, to pay the bills and take care of my family. And then once I was able to make my business a priority, I wasn't sure what I was doing. Luckily, I connected with some of the most amazing clients and mentors. My mentor and friend Rachel, who owns Midtown Physical Therapy, she's the one who kind of set everything in motion for me to be where I am right now. She's the reason I met Laura and how I got to know SBRN. And it's one of those things that I feel that I'm very grateful to have in having all these resources at my fingertips and being able to kind of move forward and get on to the next path.
And I'd love to hear from both of you the importance of community when you're starting a business, because you may be the one with the amazing idea, or you may be the one at the stove or in the kitchen, or kind of doing the just leading the personal training. But as you mentioned, it was somebody who told you about this. So can you talk about the importance of community, especially if you're a creator or you have this amazing idea?
Community for me is everything, and it's the reason why I started my business, because with a good meal, you can meet someone new, start to have a great conversation, and that builds community. Getting to know each other, having that, just learning about each other. And I think at my restaurant, that's what people are doing, and it's just continuing to create that community. And I think in East Harlem too, it's really community-based. Everyone really knows each other. Small businesses help each other out. So for me, it's super important. And as a business owner, if you're going to have a business in any community, you should pour in as much as you're taking out. And for me, and for Cocotazo, that's super important. And I make it a focus every day to let the community themselves know that we're not just here to serve food, but we're here to serve the community.
That's amazing. And I also, would love to know, what advice would you give to somebody who, because there's always going to be like new business owners or people with amazing ideas. What advice would you both give to somebody who's kind of just beginning this journey?
Stay focused. I've been in this business for 5.5 years now, and I have my goal, and that's the only thing I see. I truly stay focused on that, and constantly reminding myself of why I started this every day. Just don't lose sight of why you started it, and stay focused on that finish line.
And what advice would you give to someone?
For me is to have patience. Everything will fall into place, and to never give up, because it's not going to be an easy ride, but it's going to be totally worth it. And that's how I kind of keep myself motivated to move forward. Absolutely. In my business.
And Frances, you've been with SBRN a little bit longer. Do you know about any of the other resources they provide? What else information would you give to somebody who's kind of new to them?
I would definitely say reach out to them, because also being a new business, you don't know, or you don't know where your resources are, and just having someone to go to say, hey, this is where I'm struggling. Do you know someone that's faced this, or can you help with guiding? They provide mentorship, which I think is super key to a new business. They also provide you with a list of grants that you can apply for, which is also key to any new business, whether you're getting a grant that they're just giving you or you have to pay it back, but they're providing you with that information, with those resources to help you move forward. So that's super important. If for anything, just call them and have them just ask any question, and I'm sure they'll find someone to help guide you in the right direction.
Now, lastly, can you just let everybody know where they can go to learn more about both of your businesses?
You can find me through mostly social media. So it's my name. It's Cat Partheniades, Parthenia, D as in David, E S as in Sam. And mostly Instagram is how I've been getting some new clientele, and that's been pretty helpful.
Well, we are Cocotazo, and we're located on 115th Street and Park Avenue in East Harlem. We are a restaurant, so feel free to come on down and have a seat. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, and it's a great place to come, so I would say come on down.
All right, that's amazing. And I want to thank you both so much for joining us and talking about your experience and, just how that journey has been for the both of you, especially as I mentioned, after COVID and just dealing with small business. I think those people are very brave to continue because there's a lot of road bumps. But, I appreciate you both, just joining us and talking about, what goes on in your community. So once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate that.
If you would like to learn more about the SBRN and how they can help with your business, please go to their website at nycsmallbusinessresourcenetwork.org. Stay tuned. We have more for you right after this.
Hello, my name is Tyrone Lowe. I host a show at BronxNet called The Legends, where I bring real legends, DJs, upcoming artists, actually people from the past that's into entertainment. I want to thank BronxNet. First of all, I want to thank for the 30 years of the actually being active here. It has opened a lot of doors for me to the point where I'm branching off to have my own network. Fulfill your dreams here. That's all I have to say.
Happy anniversary to BronxNet, 30 years. Wow, brings back so many memories. This exact studio that I'm in right now, I broadcast out of here. This must have been around 2003. I mean, time flies by so quickly. I started out here, it was either Mr. Gary Axelbank and Mr. Batch with Lady Morsar. We used to do a show here called In the Neighborhood. And I brought so many different guests on this show. To be able to bring your voice to the community is very powerful. To bring hip-hop and spirituality. I brought my pastor in this same studio, Pastor Gino Jennings, and I'm sure you guys know who Pastor Gino Jennings is. That's rough. And some disciplined teaching. BronxNet is something that we need to uplift our communities, because this is a platform that we can come, and if you have a vision that's in your mind going into your heart, you can use it to do uplifting things for your community.
Welcome back. We got the chance to sit down with Brian Rauer, the Executive Director of the Better Business Bureau serving New York, to speak on how you can better prepare yourself for home improvement projects. Let's take a look. For many homeowners seeking to turn their house into their dream home, the home improvement process can be a rewarding journey. However, failing to take the necessary precautions could lead to more stress. Brian Rauer, Executive Director of the Better Business Bureau serving New York, joins me to discuss how communication, vetting, and research could ensure your project is a success. Brian, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much. Good to be back.
Now, can you talk a little bit about, some of the common mistakes homeowners make when starting their home improvement journey?
Absolutely. I think some of the biggest problems that we've seen are lack of planning. I think people will go ahead with a project, they haven't put together a budget, they haven't done proper research, they maybe only reached out to one contractor. You've got to do the research. You've got to reach out to multiple contractors, get at least 3 bids, if not more than that. You want to do the research on those contractors, whether it's bbb.org and it's free service, and seeing what other consumers are saying, seeing what their complaint history is and how they responded, if there's a licensure issue. And as us, obviously beyond us, there are many other sources where you can check out the reputation of a company, look at what other people are posting about the company and whether or not they're following the rules and regulations. There are so many ways that you can help protect yourself rather than just going gung-ho without actually doing the research beforehand. So to me, it's proper planning. It could be months of planning if it's a really big project, or it could be weeks of planning. But the planning is the key, and making sure that you understand what's included, what's not included, have a real conversation with the contractor, and you want to make sure you're checking references, things of that nature, the quality of their work. But just going full force into it, making split decisions doesn't usually work out very well. You really want to plan correctly.
Now, I was very surprised to learn that home improvement projects were among those where people are more likely to be scammed. Can you tell me a little bit more about that entire process and why it's happening?
Sure. We recently released our list of the 2023's biggest scams, and the fact is home improvement was number 4 on the list of highest risk. It's a risk index we created. That's another show. But it's the likely chance of you being subject to a scam. They finished in the top 10, again, number 4, and even higher among 55 and older. So among people who are a little bit in the older set, it was even a bigger risk. So absolutely, it's the subject of a lot of scams. And the issue is that it's high-ticket items usually. Again, if you're dealing with putting together a kitchen or other high-ticket items, it's not a matter of losing $50 or $100. You can be losing tens of thousands of dollars to these types of scams. So that becomes a much bigger deal. When you're looking out for these things, one of the biggest things I tell people is think about how they approach you. This has been an old one, but unfortunately for a lot of scammers, a good one for them. They are working in your neighborhood, and I say that in quotes, and they show up and say, we have extra materials. And it's much cheaper if we do it this way because I have all these extra materials. I'm going to give you a better deal on doing your driveway over, or helping you with that project in your in your kitchen or your dining room. And the problem is that it could be substandard material, substandard work. You don't know anything about them. They're going to want to do it on a handshake agreement. You're going to have nothing in writing. And one of two things can happen. They start the work, and then they find bigger issues, and they up the price, and they get more out of you. or they ask you to buy the additional materials for them. You spend the money in the materials, you give them the money, and you never see them again. So you can either give them upfront money and you'll never see them again, or they can start a project, do shoddy work, take more money from you, up the ante, and then leave. But either way, you're almost never going to end up with a finished product that you're satisfied with. That's not how those work. They call a lot of these storm chasers, where there's big storms and big projects that are going. It doesn't mean everyone who does this is automatically, a scammer. But a large percentage, they follow things like storms and damage and hurricanes, and they show up and say, hi, we can fix your roof. We have all this extra material. It's going to be cheaper. The problem is you don't know anything about them. They could be fly-by-night. They can impersonate well-known companies. So they have a patch. They have something to put in a truck, and it looks real. And then when they leave, you call the name of that name brand company, and they've never heard of them because it's not real, obviously. So they give you a false sense of security. They show up quickly out of the blue, particularly during these crises and storms. They leave, and you will never see your money again. And the real insidious part is they could also commit identity theft with any information they have from you.
Wow.
So it is a real subject of scams, unfortunately.
Now, can you discuss, with all of that being said, the importance of checking licenses, insurance, or permits?
Oh, absolutely. I have to tell you, there have been times you'll come across a contractor, and they seem very legitimate, and then the consumer asks them this basic question. So how do we get the permits? And they'll say, oh, don't worry about it. Unless the inspector's walking around, we don't use permits. That's a bad answer, and that's an unacceptable answer, and it's illegal. So the bottom line is that one of the first questions you're going to ask them is, do you have liability insurance? In case remember, you're working in your premises. If one of their employees has an injury, do you want to be on the hook for that injury? So do they have personal liability insurance for accidents, workers' compensation? You want to see proof of their insurance. So that's number one. You want to make sure that if your area requires licensure, and let's take New York City, let's take the Bronx. Yes, home improvement companies require licensure. Department of Consumer and Worker Protection is the licensing agency. Very easy to go to the website. They do a great job, and you can click on that, put in the name, the information, and find out if they're currently licensed. The fact that they were licensed 20 years ago and it stops 10 years ago, that doesn't help you. Are they currently licensed? The fact that they're licensed in Rockland County, that does not help you. You have to be licensed in the jurisdiction you're working in. And I've seen this many, many times with companies operating in 5 jurisdictions. They're licensed in 1. And the other 4, they say, it's fine, I'm licensed here. It's not how it works. To be licensed where you're doing the work. And then you want to make sure they're working with the Department of Buildings. You want to make sure you get a COO, Certificate of Occupancy. And you want to make sure that when they're doing this work, you're not going to have a problem later on. Say you want to resell. You want to make sure that if it needs an inspection, you're getting an inspection. If there's something that deals with the gas line, that they send out the inspector they're supposed to make sure that there's no problem with the work they did on your gas line. This is important stuff. It's a safety issue. And you want to make sure that they sign off on it. So they have to follow building codes, have proper permits issued, and make sure you're responsible for whether they're responsible or you're responsible. But it's got to be in the agreement. Are they getting it? Are you getting it? Who's paying for it? It could be a lot of money, actually. It could be fairly expensive, but you have to do it. So the answer is, are you licensed in my jurisdiction? Do you have proper liability insurance, workers' compensation? Do you use proper permitting? And if you use any subcontractors, do they have the ability to properly do this work? So it seems complicated, but these are all basic questions. If they hem and they haw, walk away. If they say they don't need it, walk away because you know they do need it. And if they said, don't you worry about that, that's my problem, it's actually your problem as the homeowner. So don't believe it.
Now, there's so many, as you mentioned, there's so many aspects to this, and I could see how it's very overwhelming to, the average person who doesn't have a background, in this type of work. But just in general, how does this aid in determining whether or not a contractor is reliable and reputable? I think you also mentioned the fact that they could have a license, but it's not in the same area, which is a really important thing to point out. So can you just talk about, how does, just kind of ensuring these things ensures that you're working with a company that is reputable and reliable?
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes to the same thing where if they can't produce the legal ability to do the work, by definition, they're not reliable. So you have to find out, again, where are they headquartered, where do they advertise they do their work, and if they say they work in 3 counties, to me, I would check not just the county I'm in, I want to know if they're doing legal work everywhere, because to me that speaks to the reliability and the ethics of a contractor. You say you're working in Westchester and New York City and Rockland, I'm going to check all 3. And by the way, it's easy to do. People think that's complicated. It's actually not. These agencies make it really easy for you. Go online and find out if they're licensed or not. And if you have a problem getting online or the site's down, contact them and find out if they're licensed. They have a rogue renovators list, I believe, in Westchester County. And the ones that they know are going around doing fly-by-night work, unlicensed, showing up, leaving quickly, look and see if they're on that list. That's not a list you want to see. So the fact is, they should be completely upfront with you about these things. If you ask for proof of insurance, they should give it to you instantaneously. It's an easy thing to do. If they tell get it to you next week or it's a problem, it's not a problem. It's an easy thing to provide. If you want to see proof of licensure from them, you'd like them to provide it, but you can let them know, I'll check it on my own. It's an easy thing. If you want to make sure there's a permit involved, you know what? Contact the Department of Buildings yourself, make sure it's been properly applied for, and don't do any work until you see proof of that permit. They can produce that easily, you can produce it easily. These are all really easy things to check on. And if they won't verify any of these things, walk away. If they have an excuse, walk away. There is no excuse. Yeah, the Department of Buildings is closed this month. No, they're not. That's not an excuse. So the bottom line is that, yes, this speaks directly to their reliability. No reputable contractor does unlicensed work where they're supposed to be licensed. By definition, you cannot be trusted if you do that because you're skirting the law and you're cutting corners. And if they're cutting corners there, they're going to cut corners with you as well. So this all goes to their reputation. And the other part of this, by the way, is asking to check references. It's also reliability. That should be something a proud contractor will instantaneously give you. They should have a list ready of older ones, more current ones, at least 3, if not more. Go and see the quality of their work. And again, pictures are great. You hope it's pictures of their own work and not someone else's. But assuming it's their own work, check out the quality. If they're actually on a site, you can see, does that look like they're doing quality work? And then talk to the people and ask, is it okay, can I contact these people about your company? And they usually will ask someone who they've done previous work for, the reputable ones, can people contact you? Can I leave you as a reference? If they've done a good job, they're usually more than willing to do that. But you got to actually check it out. If they give you 3, contact 3 and say, hey, were they on time? Did they show up when they said they would? Did they use the materials they said they would? Did they overcharge you? Were the progress payments handled correctly? You know, all those things. And by the way, I want to mention something before I forget about payments. You want to make sure that they have either a surety bond, a bond that protects your payments, or it's kept in an escrow account. You want to see if one of those 2 are happening. What's happening to your money? In case there's a real problem with the job, you want to make sure you know where your money's going. And if it's we only take cash, run away from this job. That is never a good sign.
But, well, with that being said, can you quickly let us know the importance of, BBB's Get a Quote tool and how that works?
Well, in general, I mean, this is part of making sure that that consumers are getting more than one quote, multiple quotes. We happen to have a tool on our site, Accredited Businesses, where people can link consumers and businesses and they can actually exchange quotes and show interest in that, which is great, and to be able to do that. But I wouldn't do it with just one, and it doesn't matter it's not a matter of just whether it's an accredited business or not. The fact is, with any business, you want to make sure you're checking multiple quotes. And I will stress this, the lowest quote isn't always the best quote. There can be lowball quotes from shoddy contractors. So you say you got 5 quotes and one is unusually low. Ask yourself why. Why are their materials cheaper? Why is their work always getting done at a 30% steep discount and no one else has that? Right. It could be because they have an incredible economy of scale and they're great at their jobs. In many cases, they're using shoddy materials, shoddy workmanship, fly-by-night stuff. So don't always say the lowest quote is the best quote. Sometimes it can be. Maybe there's a more modest quote. It's more reliable, higher level materials, more trustworthy, written agreement. So there's a bunch of factors you have to look at. And by the way, there could be a company that has a great quote and they're available 7 months from now.
Right.
Ask yourself, what's my time frame? Maybe I'm going to pay a little bit more and they're ready next month. So there's a number of things that go into that.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us and informing our viewers.
Oh, very welcome.
If you would like to learn more about the work the Better Business Bureau does, please go to their website at bbb.org.
Thank you to Brian and the team at the Better Business Bureau for always taking the time to help educate our viewers on these important subjects. We have to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Open right after this.
I remember when the Bronx did not really have a media outlet properly representing the people of the Bronx.
BronxNet provides for the community by being a community where people can be empowered to share their voices.
We are in a really great place technologically. We've got all the resources that we need to be effective.
Whether it's through cameras, storytelling, editing, we have provided those services for 30 years.
BronxNet's mission is to be a voice for the community.
To educate, to inform, and to inspire.
And you can be a part of it. We've built studios for you.
Welcome back. The Pearl aims to inspire Bronx residents to discover new ways of staying active through their Pilates classes, combining body, movement, and meaning. Their main objective is to create a safe and inclusive space for residents to enhance their physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Yoga instructor Emma Nygard joins me to discuss. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, can you tell me a little bit more about the Pearl and how this entire movement began?
Yes. So Wendy Yank Clark is the owner, and we opened in late April of this year. The movement is to bring healing, yoga, and Pilates to the community on City Island. It is the first reformer studio in the Bronx, which is a great achievement, and we're really happy to just bring that healing energy to that borough.
Now, can you give us more details on the art of Pilates and the benefit it has on the human body? It's something that I've heard of before, but I think if you're not like in the community, you don't really know, you just hear things online.
Right.
So can you tell us a little bit more about just the art of Pilates?
Yes, of course. So reformer Pilates was created by Joseph Pilates in the late 50s, and he brought it over to the States, and it kind of just boomed out from there. It's very healing. It helps with muscle imbalances, strengthens, lengthens. It tones, and it's also healing for emotional and mental therapy as well.
And is it similar to yoga, or is it really different?
It's not. It's yeah, they're definitely, I mean, they're very similar benefits, but with reformer Pilates, it's very like small, meticulous movements on a reformer machine, which looks very intimidating, but it's a lot of fun once you jump in. So
now, with that being said, it's been mentioned that the Pearl is the first Pilates studio in the Bronx offering group classes on the reformer. Can you just tell me a little bit more, about the significance of that achievement?
Right. So we're really happy to bring that, like I said, that healing energy to the Bronx, and just have it open to everyone throughout New York, and I think it's important to have it in the Bronx and New York in general, just because it's all of this hustle and bustle in this area, and as New Yorkers, we're just go, go, go. So just giving yourself a little time to take a step back and just heal your body through movement is a great opportunity. So that's what we want to bring to City Island.
Right, and with that being said, in the Bronx, like we typically don't even have these type of resources just available, or just like the idea of like going to a Pilates studio isn't something that comes naturally to most Bronx residents. So with that being said, and then having this this equipment, with the reformer, can you tell me a little bit more about what people can expect if they do sign up for a class like that?
Right. So Pilates is definitely very versatile, and it's a very unique form of movement. It's, like I said, very intricate, and it's very healing for the body, focusing on strengthening through the core. It's focusing on toning and lengthening the muscle, so that way it helps with any, like I said, muscle imbalances, and just bringing you a sense of body awareness in total. Yeah.
Now, can you discuss the partnership with Shape Up NYC? Because as mentioned, this is another way for New Yorkers or people in the Bronx to get in shape, to be a little bit more active. So can you tell me a little bit more about that partnership?
Yes, definitely. Our yoga instructor, Ana Maria, she's from Venezuela. She is hosting community classes she's partnered with Shape Up NYC, and she hosts them on Sundays at Orchard Beach on City Island, I believe at 6 o'clock. So it's a community class, and it's very special to have that bilingual energy, and just to make it, open to all different, community base.
And with that being said, I understand it's bilingual, and there's also this effort just throughout the entire studio to kind of be more inclusive, kind of offer a safe space. Can you talk about the importance of that and why that was something that, the studio wanted everybody to know that this was an inclusive space?
Definitely. I love that you said safe space, because that's 100% what the Pearl is. That is our movement, is to be really community-based and just bring everyone together, like just as a body, and share that experience of growing physically, mentally, and emotionally, and as a community in total. So that's our goal, is to just bring everyone together. That's our movement through body, breath, and Pilates. So
and with that being said, also, like, just in general, I think that the fitness world can be intimidating to a lot of people, especially if it's something they're new to, or they may not fit, physically, they may not fit the body type that people are expecting. With that being said, how does this help kind of change the norm of, like, what is the right way to, or the right way to look if you're doing Pilates, or, kind of being a little bit more fit?
Right. So any fitness in general is intimidating. And then you throw that reformer into the mix of things. So that could be like, oh my gosh, this looks like a torture device, but it's actually not. With our instructors, we hold a very welcoming environment for all different types of bodies, like ethnicities and beliefs. And we're very inclusive with the way we project ourselves as instructors. So I think that's what draws people in, and it also is a reflection of what the community is as well, and that's what creates this beautiful bubble at the Pearl. So,
and with that, I also want to talk about everybody has different experience levels. Do you guys take that into account when somebody joins the classes? Are there certain classes that are better suited for people who are, new to this versus people who are experts? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Of course. So all of our classes are exclusive to all levels. We're all inclusive, and all of our instructors are very knowledgeable and experienced to handle if you have an injury, or if it's your first time doing Pilates or yoga. And we're willing to give that one-on-one direction, and be in communication with all of our students to make sure that they are given the best experience possible. We also offer private sessions at our studio as well, which gives you like a one-on-one take of what you're looking to achieve and how you're looking to grow. And it's a nice little intro to get you into the classes if you feel a little intimidated at first.
Now, what I think is so amazing and really sweet is that there are also classes for families, and there's opportunities for, our younger ones to join and be a little bit more active. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes. So we have a bunch of different offerings for families. We have perinatal on our Saturdays, and then we also offer ballet, like kids ballet and kids yoga, which is super cute. It ranges from like pre-birth and then all the way up to our young yogis and ballet, which is a really cool offering that we have as well.
That's so cute. And when teaching children, how do you ensure that the classes are suitable for different ages, or it's hard for children to kind of just remain still or kind of keep that balance and centered. So how do you approach that?
Our instructor Stephanie is our young yogis instructor, and then we have a rotating ballet instructor, and they've both been doing this for a very long period of time. So it's just keeping their minds active, but also bringing in that meditation aspect of things into their practice as well. And with time, you eventually see them start to become more aware, and they're like, okay, I can namaste.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And can you tell me a little bit more about, like, I know you're also a yoga instructor, what your classes, like the classes that you teach, what they'll kind of be like?
Yes, of course. So I teach a few different styles, from restorative, which is more of like a really relaxed state, and then I also teach a yoga sculpt, and then everything in between. Our yoga sculpt is with little baby weights and a lot of more of like a vigorous but not intimidating style. We have our middle section, which is a flow of traditional vinyasa, and the restorative, like I said, is more of a chill state, and we have those classes throughout the entire studio. So.
Now, I understand there are going to be specialty workshops every month. Can you share anything about those workshops, any upcoming workshops or some that were happening in the past?
Yes, so we just had our summer solstice and International Day of Yoga workshop, which was more of an event, but it was a lot of fun. It was for the birthing project of the Bronx. And so we had that. It was a 90-minute class. We offered a few different of our styles of yoga. And an upcoming workshop that we have a Kundalini and meditation workshop on the 15th of July, which is a Saturday. And yeah.
That's amazing. Now, what advice would you give to somebody who maybe want to start their fitness journey? Would you encourage them to start with Pilates or yoga, or should they start maybe somewhere else and then join Pilates and yoga? You know, what advice would you give?
I think the first thing is try to get out of your head. And that's kind of why we're there, is to get into our head. So just removing everything you think it's going to be, removing any expectations, just so you go in with a really open mind. When you think of which class should I start with, it's really just whatever resonates with you. Like I said, our instructors are open to offering our classes to all levels, from someone who's been practicing for 20 years or someone who's brand new. And we could definitely, as instructors, read the room and make sure that everyone feels welcomed and safe and nurtured at the Pearl.
And I'm curious to know what kind of sparked you to begin this journey, and what made you want to become a yoga instructor?
Oh, well, I started when I was 19, started teaching, so that was quite some time ago. And I came out of something that wasn't resonating with me, and yoga pulled me out of a dark place. And I've been teaching all over the world, all over Westchester County and New York City, and it's changed my life so much. I'm very, very passionate about what I do. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So, you know, I think it's so amazing that, like, for a lot of people, you know, they may start their fitness journey, you know, purely for physical, right? I know that's for a lot of people, but to understand, or to, you know, to hear that there's some benefits that help with mental, or, you know, just any other part of just the human experience, I think it's so amazing. So, you know, with that, I want to thank you, you know, for joining us and talking a little bit about your journey and how this journey can help other people. So once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us. Yes.
To learn more about all the classes they offer at the studio, please go to their website at pearlmovement.com. We've come to the end of our show today. I'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us, and you, the viewers, for tuning in. If you miss any part of today's show, you can catch the recable cast at 5 and 10 p.m. on Optimum Channel 67 and Verizon Fios Channel 33, or watch anytime on the web at BronxNet.org. You can catch a brand new episode of Open with Darren Hymie on Wednesday and with Rena Valentine on Friday. I'm Kibin Alleyne, wishing you and yours safety and wellness now and always. See you next time.